see. So probably if you have taken international business, we'll look at international business class, looking at a very broad aspect of IB, and part of the IB classes or subject is on multinational. So we are now focusing on the firm, IB talk more about the micro and the micro aspect of IB, how it started, how the company going overseas for many reasons, But multinational corporation, we are talking the detail, the characteristic of the firm, of the company involved in international business. So we are focusing on the company's profile. Who are they? What they are doing? The characteristic of the company here. To see how the market growth, not only in we are looking for the reason, of course, where you come when the foreign company come to Malaysia, there must be a reason for that. We discussed that. And we are looking the activities of the multinational corporation. What do they do? How they come here, to see how the coming of multinational to our country in particular, is affecting the economy, the social aspect, the human capital aspect of the country. How this company are helping us here to develop our knowledge, our skill, our technology transfer, Also bring the growth to the country, especially on this domestic GDP of the country. The revenues coming from the foreign industry. And then, of course, we are looking on some of the cases of the multinational who enter Malaysia, who enter India, and so forth, how they come here, and they have been here for the last 40 years or so, I remember when I was in Penang during 1970, of course, during that time, you can see the coming of factories into the into Penang, and into the free trade zone, So if we are talking, they are coming here in this manufacturing company, who came here in 1970. Now we are in 2021. Then we are talking about 50 years of the existence in this country, especially Intel and other big companies, who are doing computer, who are doing chips, computer chips. We've got doing some manufacturing, assembly, and so forth. So if you look at the history of multinational coming into Malaysia, it's a very long history. If we take Penang alone, when during my time when I was young, I was teaching at Penang, USM. That was the beginning of the growth of the free trade zone. The first free trade zone in Malaysia is Penang, where they gather all the international companies, multinational company, under this free trade zone concept, and how they do the manufacturing. From there they export to the other countries. So we are the manufacturing country by bringing all those American firms, Japanese firms, Korean firms, Taiwanese, especially Asia. You can see the coming of Dells into the countries later on. But what I can remember in that time, we were concerned, we know about the Intel, the Intel technology, they produce chips for the computer, and of course, they are growing and they are still there, and they move to Kulim also for their subsidiaries. So these are some of the history of multinational coming into the picture. Yeah. And the last, we'll be talking about whether how we're going to regulate this multinational. Is there any law that we can depend on the operation of the multinational corporation? Whether we can control the operation or not? Whether there is a law that covers, there's some issue there on the aspect of regulation of the multinational corporation, but we can see that the coming of multinational into the corporation in a big size, they bring employment to the country, bringing revenues, tax to the country. Then we can see that multinational play a significant role, and it's not easy, to really control or regulate the country, put more law, more procedures, more ruling, then they feel that they are not secure, they are not stable, the operations are not being really pushed forward. Then probably he moved to other countries. So that's what our worry now. If we control so much of the operation, especially in the Penang Free Trade Zone, if one company, one factory leaves to other company, to other country, I see how it affected the employment aspect. So there is always some kind of a little bit of monitoring, a little bit of control, and make sure that the companies are following our laws, especially the labor law, especially about the human resource issue of corporate social responsibility and so forth. This is why human resource or multinational operation seem to be looking at Malaysia during that time as one of the potential, as one of the favorite site, in Asia or in South Asia, coming all the way from America, from England, from Germany, from Sweden, of course, coming from Taiwan, another part of the country. But we can see now the coming of Chinese also, the growing of Chinese multinational also. We can see now they are coming to Malaysia in the infrastructure development, a lot of railways. Our railways, you can see our MRT, all in manufactured by the Chinese company, all the Tun Razak Exchange. You go to Tun Razak Exchange in KL, you can see the sign, the symbol of the Chinese company, there, how they build up the Razak Exchange, the railway, and coming into the joining the Proton, the Geely also, bringing technology, bringing expertise, and make our Proton car become more sellable, more competitive, more sellable, and we can see there's a growth of a Proton sale. When Geely come in, take some of the share and put some money, put some investment, technology, people into Proton, so we can see the growth of Proton, the growth of Perodua, where the engines are coming from the Japanese, now coming into the Chinese technology. This is the overall about the multinational corporation that you can imagine that has taken place into Malaysia in particular. of course, they move to other countries, to India, to Indonesia. Lot they move, especially the Chinese move to Africa. They are also involved in oil and gas. Where the Chinese China itself, it's not the gas producing country, but they produce technology in the oil and gas. That's something that we learn from the coming of multinational corporation into the country. So let's move to my first slide, to share to you and to see that with the I want to show you some of our the product. You can say this product, they are in Malaysia or in other part of the world. See, you can see the amount of product and the brand that we are now consuming, especially in Malaysia. You can see there is only certain part, only certain multinational companies, who are coming here to Malaysia, and some of the product here we are very familiar. Yeah, maybe some are not here. For example, Walmart is not here yet, but they are in China. They are in Mexico. Yeah, I went to China many years ago. I can see Walmart, in one of the cities in China. And they're doing very well. This called a discount house. Walmart is just discount house like Maidin, like whatever you can have here. One of the largest retail store in America. Move. Can you go to Mexico? I went to Mexico many years ago. I can see Walmart there, very established there, create employment to the Mexican, create employment to the people in China. Create employment, and you can see the goods. They are very low price products because they are serving the people, the top bottom of the pyramid. They're talking about the top bottom of the pyramid. They mean they are catering for the poor. Like here, they are catering for the B40 lah. Walmart, kalau you go to the store inside, the goods are from China, of course, from China, from Bangladesh, from India, and the price are cheap, and the clothing, everything, from the merchandise, from the household to all various products that you can see in our supermarket, in our mall. They have it, but at the lower prices. They put the tagline every day. The price is cheaper. Every day the price is reduced. That's how they play around with the everyday tagline. Every day the price is less. I mean, if today they sell at $1. For tomorrow they will sell at 90 cents. The next one they go to 80 cents. This is the concept of the Walmart. It's very interesting. That we pay less every day we go there. How they make it? That's another issue here. How they tie up with all the supply chain, with the suppliers, tie up all the businesses arrangement to make sure that they sell and buy the product and sell the product from the manufacturer, on the lowest price every day. Of course, there will be some. You study Walmart, and there are always an issue here that. Especially the supplier of the Walmart, are not happy with the price arrangement between the supplier and Walmart in particular, because they're squeezing the supplier in terms of pricing, in terms of cost, yeah. But at the same time, since Walmart, I thought Walmart because we have not seen Walmart in Malaysia yet, We see Walmart you only see Tesco only. Yeah, but Walmart is one of the largest retail store in the world because they go out in China, in developing country, and sell their product at the least prices, And the philosophy is they serve the poor. So they say the poor don't have money, not much money. So what they can do, you can afford to go a premium store, with a brand name, like you go to Tesco, maybe you have to pay more. If you go to Maidin, for example, Maidin might cost you less, or you go to Giant, you might cost less. If you go to Eon, very premium malls, Japanese premium mall, maybe for the same product, you might get different prices. So Walmart is focusing on the poor. They are taking the poor, and because they found that in the world, the percentage of poor as compared to the percentage of the rich people, the poor category has a high percentage. So they see the big market there. They strategize the big market to handle so-called the bottom of the pyramid customer. So you study the bottom of the pyramid, customer, written by Prahalat. They tell you instead of you moving to a high price or high end consumer, you say you must not be lacking on serving the bottom of the pyramid. So the concept of bottom of the pyramid means serving the poor. The poor can be effort to buy, and Walmart is one of the retail store in the world which is very successful in businesses. Of course, there is some problem issue of low wages among the employee, maybe long hours. It doesn't matter. Even though some issue, even they have legal issue. Also, people, especially the employee, are not happy with the term of employment, low pay, long hours. Mostly part-time employees, flexible work hours. There's some issue on the human resource, on the legal aspect, on the industrial relation aspect. But the bottom line is this Walmart is one of the favorite mall for people like us. If you're poor, you go to mall. With this kind of. So you can see here, I just get it from the Google, to see that if this company are here in Malaysia, and they serve us, that means we are living with this so-called multinational products. Of course, you can see the bottom up there, the McDonald's, Coca-Cola, KFC, Pizza, Burger King, Wendy, Fridays, these are some of our fast food, coming into Malaysia. The McDonald's come here in 1980s, early 1980s. They come in with McDonald's. For you, maybe you are not born yet, some of you are young, I was about 20, 30 years old at that time. They have problem also about the McDonald's at that particular time because they use the word hamburger. You heard now the word hamburger in America. Hamburger so bukan it's not pig, it's just the name is hamburger. So there's a lot of issue on the name of the ham, because to us ham means something it's not halal it's not halal meat. but they put hamburger. Yeah, there's some lot of issue lah on the issue of religion. During the early 80s, many people, our society are very skeptical, to eat hamburger, and there's some worries about the name hamburger, but it came from US, I go there, you go to US, see hamburger, we just eat that because to them it's not about pig, it's not about about other meat, but the name is ham. So now you can see that in Malaysia, mana ada name hamburger, just burger only, burger. And now we have also local burger also, serving our society. This McDonald's also came to Malaysia in the early 80s or so, in the early 80s. Of course, now we can see how it grows and become one of the most favorite for the families and kids. My kid, maybe your granddaughter or your brother, small brother, so they look at M signboard, say McDonald's, Coca-Cola, pizza. These are some of the popular brand that come into our country. You can see how the multinational corporation bring new life, a new style to the country that was before maybe in a developing country. They enjoy all the food and drink brought by the multinational. Of course, they come here through various means of doing business. We can talk. Subway, you are familiar. Anything? Any one of you working in one of these company here? Any one of you? You don't have Sears here. You have Sears in America, Walmart still in America, but they have growing in Europe. Of course, you know about Google, the Microsoft. We are doing now. We doing this, our teaching using the Microsoft team, they call to the IT on the development of teaching stack. Intel, I mentioned to you very long, about over 50, 60 years in the country, they still survive, they're still moving, even though in the COVID-19, they still exist. All packet computer, this everybody is using, Apple, of course, this what the famous, the popular PCs, the handphones, that we in Malaysia are having that all this area. Here we do not see any Malaysian product sorry to say Maybe our Malaysian product may not be to the level of the so-called multinational. Federal Express, some study on Federal Express, the movie, 20 Fox movie, the cinema, the film companies, the cheese and crowd, the Kellogg you eat every morning, Kellogg food, of course, Kodak already missing here, maybe because of the camera, the issue of the handphone, film, so Kodak become less and less visible in the coming future. The Paramount, and so of course, the General Electric, the Goodyear tire, the mobile, all these Texaco and whatever you see in this picture, we are already being served by this so-called multinational. How important is the multinational? These are only some of the looking only the food, only the service. What more you go to the manufacturing in Shah Alam, in Bangi, in Penang, in Pulim. Probably you can see some in Johor Bahru on the oil and gas and so forth. Saying that this multinational company from far away came to Malaysia and do business and probably they really change the lifestyle of the Malaysia. Sometimes we have become more American, more English, or more European, or more Japanese. You know? If looking at the Japanese food are coming here, all the so-called the drinks that you find out in the coffee shop, coffee houses around, you know. Starbucks become more familiar lately, you know. All this so-called high-end and branded coffee become more and more important. Of course, Procter and Gamble is more American, you know. Just like Colgate that you use, all the products of the household, so-called bathroom product also become more and more that we use every day. So this is how the importance of multinational coming into the country. So it's very interesting, you know, you look at this small sample size, sample for the multinational and the products that you have, that you consume, in fact brought by this multinational company that you can avoid. How are you going to avoid? I don't think